Welcome to the Political Ferret Show. New content will be uploaded every Wednesday and Sunday, and if you like this kind of content, consider becoming a Patreon and help with just $1 a month to make the change possible. Looks like I have to talk a little bit about the Dalai Lama, the one best known Buddhist on earth, not by a stretch the leader of all Buddhists like a lot of people claim, especially in the West, where being Buddhist, especially in the 90s, was very popular while nobody did know what he was talking about. It was often something like, oh, I do yoga and I'm a Buddhist. Okay, do you follow the Panchen Lama or the Dalai Lama or what? This was a quite normal conversation in the 90s about Buddhism. Some people did buy some books of the Dalai Lama, nobody read them. For instance, I read them. I was quite interested in the Dalai Lama and read some of his books, and quite frankly, I liked those books. They were nice. And then I went a little bit deeper into Buddhism, and I did not really like what I found there. I will do a video about my take on Buddhism on another day. I will not talk about it now in depth, but in short, I find it quite nihilistic and life-hating. So I do not like Buddhism at all. So the thing with the Dalai Lama, when I got into this thing and got into the history of Tibet, and the thing is, Tibet points out that they were free and now they are occupied by the Chinese. The thing is, Tibet wasn't free for a long time. It was quite long a part of China, but they used internal struggles and the weakness of China to declare themselves free and independent. The thing is, nobody had the power to convince them otherwise until the communists took over, and then they, went to Tibet and say, hey, guys, I know you think that you're independent, but you're really not. And they convinced them with bigger army diplomacy that they are not. So the ruling body, or in the end, Tibet at this point was a theocracy. So you have a religious leader on the top as sort of king, and you have his underlings as pretty much the nobility, which means that they sit around all day long thinking about how they achieve enlightenment and get fed by the farmers below them, which is not particularly cool for the farmers, I would say. And quality of life in the end increased in Tibet, because although the Chinese system is shitty, the Tibetan system is even more shitty. So the interesting thing is, when, let's say, from the 90s to the early 2000s and above that, when I pointed that out and say, he's just a religious leader, this is a theocracy, this is nothing but the Vatican state on steroids. Lefties, especially lefties, said to me, you're an evil bigot. Did not call me Nazi for that, because I don't know why. Normally when they would do it, I would point out that the Tibetans were quite fond of the Nazis. And this normally, at least in the 90s, killed this argument. But the thing is, they love the Dalai Lama. And I think it is because he used such nice words. And this is pretty much all it needs to convince a lefty to say, but wouldn't it be a better world? And whatever you say afterwards, they buy it. Because you are interested in a better world. And this is all it takes. It's not more. It's all it takes. And there's a message of, we should all respect each other and so on. But then now the Dalai Lama, and this is not the first one. I remember this happens before, but he comes out in Sweden and says, well, Europe is for the Europeans. And the lefties go bonkers. And the interesting thing is, what else should he say? I mean, he says, now, since he's a child, and if you look to him now, you see he's clearly not a child anymore. He says again and again, Tibet is for the Tibetans. The Chinese should go out. Tibet is for the Tibetans, and India is for the Indians, so we will go out of India. The thing is, this is his message all along. And to say Africa is for the Africans, and the left applauds, yeah, Africa is for the Africans. And then he says, also the American natives should have a place, yeah, the American natives. And Europe is for the Europeans, no, evil Nazi bigot. It is consistent. It is consistent with what he's saying for decades now. He says that there are people are distinctive and different, and there are places that are distinctive and different. And those distinctive and different places mold the people inside, and this is a people. And these people are different, and people want to be different. He sees no problem with people want to be Christian, people want to be Buddhist, and the left used to love him for that. But when he points out that there should be a place for the Christians and there should be a place for the Buddhists, they go again bonkers. It's absolutely funny. The thing is, I do not like him to this very day. From my point of view, he's a theocratic, authoritarian ruler, and he wants a theocracy and he wants to suppress the farmers. And I do not like that. I really do not like that. But I can understand what he wants, and his core message resonates with people all over the world, to say that we are different and there are different places, and people want the different places and want to live differently there. And it's wonderful. It makes the world more colorful if there are more different places and different people and different cultures. And it is not possible to make the world uniform, to make every square meter on Earth look the same, and every person on Earth look the same, think the same, and do the same. This is not possible. And that's the interesting thing. And this is the thing that I find quite funny, because it shows that the left did never listen to the Dalai Lama before, especially not because he did not say something new here. He said something that he is saying for decades, and I called him out for that in the past, because a lot of his views, especially these ethno-nationalistic views, I do not share. But and I called him out for that. But the leftists always pushed me back and said, "No, you just say that because I don't know, strange reasons." But his view never changed, and that's the cool thing. The left did never listen to the Dalai Lama. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Consider becoming a Patreon, and have a wonderful day.